Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Family Fossils. Family Fossils is a project based out of the Hunstanton Heritage Centre and aims to educate people about the fossils and rocks to be found on their beaches. In this episode we will be looking at the fossils to be found in the Carr stone, which is our oldest commonly available stone in Hunstanton. But before we look at these fossils here in details, we should first of all examine what the Carr stone is. The Carr stone can be found at the base of our cliffs, which exist to the north of Hunstanton, but it also occurs at all points of the beach, virtually down towards Heacham. It's that ginger coloured rock there, looks like Jamaica ginger cake, but it can vary in quality from a yellow to even green in places. It is a iron rich, very coarse sandstone, sometimes with pebbles and conglomerate in it. It dates to about 110 to 112 million years old. It frequently contains either ammonite fragments or wood, bark and other remains that are washed out from a great river. When the tide goes out in front of the cliffs, these strange donuts or pudding shaped lumps of Carr stone are exposed. It's simply where the rock has been worn away by the sea. But as you can see further out, it flattens considerably into what is called a wave cut platform. When the tide comes in, these pillows or donuts of Carr stone form a very nice roost for the seabirds. Isolated pieces of Carr stone like these can be found at all points of the Promenade beach, and it's while searching these that some of the best fossils can be found. The stones are broken up, very accessible and easy to get hold of. The Victorians and Edwardians had a love affair with this golden rich honey-coloured Carr stone, and it turns up on the facade of many of the buildings from their periods right the way through the 1930s, and indeed even modern buildings are still using this Carr stone facade. It's very much the local vernacular when it comes to architecture. So here we are, modern use of Carr stone. When bright sunlight hits it, it almost seems to glow. If you're enjoying the presentation so far, please feel free to subscribe or show your appreciation by leaving us a like. As you're walking along the Promenade beach, if you see any pieces of ginger coloured, brown coloured or even green Carr stone, turn them over. The top piece here is a piece of fossil wood in green Carr stone. The bottom piece is fossil bark, actually opened out and flattened. Again, that's in the ginger coloured Carr stone. And here we have another separate piece of fossil wood found in the green Carr stone, and that is a centimetre scale. One of the more exciting things I found in the solid rock this year was a badly damaged section of fossil bark. This is about 12 feet long originally, but the tide had gone through the middle. But interestingly, this piece had two buds growing out of it. In case you can't see it clearly, I have circled the bud heads here. There's two stems growing out of the side of the tree, and the buds hadn't flowered when it fell into the water. Bark and fossil wood are frequent finds in the Carr stone, and these indicate that somewhere close by there was a very large river of the scale of perhaps even the River Amazon, pumping out rotten wood, bark, trees, but also this strong iron pollution. This iron pollution is what gives the Carr stone its very distinctive rusty colour. It's called limonite and is so strong in some places it can actually be smelted and melted down and turned into iron. The iron also turns up as concretions, looking like old rusty tin cans. It also seems to be attracted to fossil wood, and we regularly find sections of fossil wood which have got iron concretion actually formed around it, almost cushioning it. Pieces of fossil wood that are sometimes too large or too delicate even for me to tackle turn up. This one was found not far from the old pier head. That's my foot and my trowel for sense of scale. Unfortunately, it's too large and too delicate to be removed, and the processes of time and tide unfortunately are taking its toll on this piece. It's rapidly disappearing. One of the most instantly recognisable fossils, perhaps in Britain, is the ammonite. It's a curious feature that nearly all the ammonites that come out of the Carstone are broken. There appears to have been a major earthquake or seismic event about 10 million years later, and in consequence, everything beneath that, including the Carstone, has been badly shaken up. So it is quite rare to find a complete ammonite in the Carstone level. This group here was found in the space of only 10 or 15 minutes after Storm Amy. I just walked along the edge of a Carstone ledge and there they all were, just laying there. Back in the summer, the Heritage Centre and myself organised a beach fossil safari for 4 families. We took about 18 to 20 people, all inexperienced fossil collectors along. Took them down onto the beach, and in a short while, nearly all the youngsters were finding something. Good example here of an ammonite. This particular one is their local species known as Parahoplites. This young lady here has got 2 small chunks of Parahoplites and what appears to be a large one but of the undetermined species. So ammonite fragments are quite frequent if you know where to look and when to look. Being fairly local, I get a chance to pick over the beach at different times, but even on a busy day things can be found. This was found on an August Bank Holiday Monday, right in front of the swimming pool at virtually groin 12. They're all numbered down there. This was next to groin 12. It's a Parahoplites ammonite preserved in iron. It is extremely heavy, and that is a centimetre scale in front to give you an idea of the size of it. Where possible, if I'm digging them out of rock, I try now not to separate the ammonites from the rock itself. They'll simply break up. You can actually see there's a huge crack running across this one. So I decided to leave the Carstone matrix around it. It's supporting it like a plastered leg, and there's a nice handsome section of Parahoplites. The centre's dropped out, but unfortunately that is the case here. A lot of these seem to have been washed ashore on a Cretaceous sandbank and have been slapped about a little bit. Sometimes they're actually found water worn. I prefer not to use a hammer and chisel, but complete ones are so rare in the Carstone that when I saw this one popping out of a Carstone ledge, I thought I've got to have it. It was only when I was cleaning it up I discovered it's got teeth marks. Now there I've ringed it in green. There's a set of teeth marks at what I call the 9 o'clock position. There's also 3 more across the other side, and the section where the animal lived has actually been bitten off. Here's a more recent view of it. I've twisted the ammonite around a bit. Again, it's got a centimetre scale next to it, and you can see there's a line of holes coming towards you. I have now ringed them again here, and that is a principal bite of a small animal with a straight jaw, and the only one in the area at the time was the Ichthyosaur. We know that ichthyosaurs preyed upon ammonites. They're frequently found in the stomach contents of adults. I think a baby bit this one. I did think that my bitten or predated ammonite was going to be my find of the year, but never say never. The following week, again as a result of Storm Amy, I'm rummaging around at a spot where in 1910 Ichthyosaur bones were found, and sure enough I found this in a piece of green Carstone. It was wedged in a very funny position. It had clearly been protected from the elements, and when I got it out it has all the appearances of being the rib of an Ichthyosaur. According to our 1910 fossil book published by our museum, Ichthyosaur bones were found at this point. And the following day, the second piece that's laying next to it was found at almost the same position. So we do have, I think, Ichthyosaur bones turning up in it on our beach. For those not aware, Ichthyosaur means fish lizard. They were dolphin-like creatures, which amazingly gave live birth. At least three Ichthyosaur mothers have been found with embryos or young ichthyosaurs passing out the birth canal. They lived for about 150 to 200 million years, so they're large range from at least the Triassic up to the end of the Cretaceous, but they didn't survive the Great Cretaceous massacre or annihilation of dinosaurs. So there's my piece of rib. There's a illustration of a live ichthyosaur, and that's the one that's keeping me very happy at the moment. Family Fossils is a project run out of the Hunstanton Heritage Centre, which is operated out of the former NatWest Bank in Northgate, Hunstanton. Handsome red brick building there. Fascinating museum. They've got lots of things about the town, its development, the coming of the railways, and we've got a cinema based in the former bank vault, which is quite fun. We claim it's Britain's most secure cinema. It's free to visit, free to enter, but we will be closing, unfortunately, in November and reopening again in April. Last little word about safety. If you are visiting the cliff area at all, please be aware that the cliffs have been rated as some of the most dangerous in East Anglia, and there are sections of cliff there which are only held up by spit and goodwill. Here's a prime example. There's about 2 or 3 tons there just waiting to drop, so please do not approach the base of the cliffs. Apart from that, stay safe.